say my name?
No, I'm gonna say what's your name. And then,
Okay, word.
What's your name?
My name is Ryan Osborne.
Where you from?
Charlotte, North Carolina.
So, what motivated you to even start the program?
Right. So this pandemic has taken a toll on a lot of us in so many different ways. And I remember just going through a pretty tough time mentally. And I was on the phone with my buddy Adam. And one of the things that he said on the phone call is he has to be a man on a mission. And that resonated with me a lot. I needed a mission in my life because I felt like I was just waking up, working, and then going to bed. And my fitness was lacking, my health was lacking, I was eating horribly, and forget about reading a book. I can't remember the last time I read a book. So I went after it, and it was a complete 180 from my daily routine, or really even lack of a routine since I didn't have one. And that is why I chose to do it. You can't even really prepare for something like this because it hits you right in the mouth. But you take it day by day, and all of a sudden you end up where I am, which is I'm 70 days in. I got 5 days to go. I think that's important to mention. I haven't even finished it yet. So
When you knew that you're going to do this program, which of those tasks were you most concerned with going in?
I would say the task that I was most concerned with going in was consuming the gallon of water, solely because, and this might shock a lot of people, but I don't drink water. You can ask my former teammates from SLU, you can ask my friends from Charlotte, I don't drink water. I drink per month, maybe 2-3 bottles of water. The liquids that I normally consume are lots of soda, like Gatorade, milk. I love skim milk. I'll drink orange juice. I'll drink wine with my girlfriend. Really anything except for water. And so I think the thing that I was most worried about was definitely consuming a gallon of water, because that's a lot of water for someone who doesn't drink a lot of water.
So now you've drank a gallon a day for the last 70 days. Physically, what's the difference now versus then? How do you feel?
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be able to do the 2 workouts a day if it wasn't for the gallon of water a day, solely because you need to be super hydrated to work out twice a day, because some of those workouts are pretty tough. Like, you're gonna have days where you're feeling great and you want to push yourself, and you can't do that unless you're hydrated. So my energy levels have definitely skyrocketed. I've noticed a big difference in my energy. Even my skin is cleared up. So my my skin feels a lot better. Yeah, I think those are the 2 main differences. It's my muscles feel ready for the workouts that I'm putting them through, which in the past it kind of just felt like a crapshoot. My energy levels are higher. My skin feels clearer. Those are the biggest things that I've noticed from drinking the gallon.
What about in terms of the food? You talked about how the water, that was night and day, big change for you, considering obviously you know that you need it, but it just wasn't a priority before. What about the food aspect? No cheat meals, you have to stick to a specific routine. Can you tell us about the journey of what does your diet look like, pre-75 hard, and then right now when you're on, it's the 4th quarter, 2 minutes left, you're about to wrap it up.
Right. Before I can even talk about that, I think I need to mention why 75 hard is so great. And it's because it meets you where you are. It'll meet you where you are in the physical aspect in terms of the 2 workouts, and it'll also meet you where you are in the diet aspect. You may be a vegetarian, you may be vegan, you may be pescatarian, you may be gluten-free, and the diet aspect is, everybody's diet is going to be different. So at the end of the day, you have to set the correct parameters for yourself to make sure that the diet that you are choosing for yourself is going to be very fruitful for you. So for me, I knew what my cheat meals were. I know that my weakness is queso. I know I love cookies. I know I love candy, like fruit roll-ups. I had Chick-fil-A. Shout out Chick-fil-A, by the way. I love you no matter what. But I had Chick-fil-A 5 days a week.
Not 2, not 3, not 4.
I kid you not. Every day I would have Chick-fil-A for either lunch or dinner. White bread, soda, and all of those things have been completely wiped from my diet. I've had to find substitutes for every single one of them.
Tell us more about that, the substitutes.
The substitutes.
What have you used to help curb some of those cravings?
Yeah, so substitutes, major plug for the Do You Project, because the Do You Project has actually helped me in my 75 hard. The elevation bars have been great. Wheat bread over white bread. My girlfriend and I love to watch The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, and so while she drinks wine, I have found this low calorie, low sugar grape juice. It's like 45 calories a serving that has been pretty great.
How do you deal with being in a situation where everybody around you is indulging in all the things that you really want, but you've got a goal in mind? How do you say no when there's all that temptation in front of you? Just walk me through a situation where you really wanted to take part in what everyone else was having, but you made the conscious decision to be disciplined and say no.
Oh gosh, where do I even begin? I have so many stories. There was this time where I was at a wedding in Minnesota and we found this beautiful, gorgeous speakeasy bar that was selling these like phenomenal old-fashioned cocktails that just looked awesome. And it looked like a 1 in a million cocktail. At least in my mind it was, because it had been so long since I had a drink. And I was just watching everybody around me buy the drinks. The energy was just so good. Everybody was having such a great time, all smiles. And I was sitting there with a water in my hand. I'll say this, the temptation aspect of 75 hard, because you will face temptation, it faces people differently. Some people are more easily tempted than others. I think that people who are more socially driven and more extroverted probably will struggle with this more, just because they want to keep people happy. I know I'm a people pleaser. I want to keep people happy. But turning those situations down, I think it was just mostly alcohol. I was able to turn down treats, ice cream, cookies. I've been in St. Louis for the past couple days, and I was able to turn down emos, Picklemans, Ted Drews fairly easily. I think it was more the social situations that were pretty tough.
Where were you at physically in terms of whether it's, whatever is important to you, whether it's your appearance or just your physical abilities? Where were you, right at the onset of 75 hard? Can you take us through, you're a D1 athlete, you graduate, then what?
Yeah. That's such a hard question to answer. In college, I definitely took for granted how much track and field kept us accountable for our health, our strength, and our fitness. I guess once I lost that piece of my life, I feel like I lost a lot of myself. And so I found myself in a position where I was like, maybe fitness isn't a priority to me anymore. Maybe I need to be spending more time working, more time socializing, more time with my girlfriend, and more time sleeping. And over time, fitness, health, eating right became less and less of a priority, until all of a sudden you wake up and you're like, how did I get here?
So there's a lot of folks that you and I both know that were athletes growing up or at some point in time and have dealt with injury.
Yes.
You had your share of injury and surgeries in the past. So
Yes.
Can you walk us through what those injuries were and how they happened, how long you've been dealing with them, and how since you've gotten back in a habit of getting in the gym and being active, you've finally seen some long overdue progress with those injuries? So
for every athlete, we've all had our fair share of injuries. For me, there are two specific injuries that stick out the most. So I've had hip surgery and shoulder surgery. The way I like to describe it to people is I kind of ran myself out of my body. I was competing with a lot of guys who were faster than me, and I felt like I had to be as fast as them. So I pushed myself very hard and unfortunately impinged my hip, tore my labrum, and had to get surgery for my hip and redshirt my junior year. In the process of rehabbing that hip, I overcompensated for my upper body because if I couldn't do anything lower body wise, I at least wanted to look like an athlete, right? And so with that overcompensating, I ended up injuring my shoulder and also tearing that labrum. And the pain eventually got so bad that I had to get the surgery in 2018. For me, I like to call it like a bum hip and a bum shoulder, and time again would use that as an excuse to not work out. In fact, the shoulder injury is, even though I've had the surgery, it's still a nagging thing for me, and I didn't think I would be able to adequately do 75 hard because of my shoulder injury, and so I let that stop me mentally for the longest time. I felt, what's the point of lifting if I wasn't going to do it my way or go 100%? Those are two things that I've had to deal with in terms of slowly progressing my workouts. When I started 75 hard, I started squatting 135, and just 2 days ago I squatted 245. And then with benching, I started with the bar, and I've been able to get up to 165. I'm not claiming these weights to be heavy by any means. I'm not acting like I'm some super stud beast, but what I am claiming to have made is progress. And to me, because 75 Hard is a program that is meant for you to better yourself, to me that progress means a lot.
What's the biggest lesson you've learned from doing 75 Hard?
I would say the biggest lesson that I learned from doing 75 Hard is how important consistency is, because day in and day out, you really can't control the external factors, but you can control the internal factors, and being consistent in the things that you can control is so vital to being able to do this. And for anyone who is wanting to do you or to take things to the next level, doing a program like this will absolutely propel you to where you want to be. I mean, I can't even describe how good I feel internally, not just from like a health perspective, but from like a mental and mindset perspective. I can't describe how great it feels to be here. And you know, life, it ebbs and flows, right? Like you go through hills and valleys, and I'm certainly on a hill right now, but I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for consistency. Like, I didn't accomplish anything super monumental by society standards. I accomplished something that was important to me, and that's all that matters. You know, I'm so incredibly joyful to be at the tail end of this, to be at the home stretch of 75 Hard, and I'm be damn sure I'm going to accomplish it. Alright, watch this. Watch this. Oh, that's it? We're done? Wrap it up.